Robert! Robert! Yeah. Quiet on set, please.
Right, I'm taking the dog home.
Alright, no worries, thank you. Mum's taking the dog for a walk. I've neglected him the entire day. So yeah, I'm chatting about Harlow. Amanda, big up Harlow. Probably wondering why I'm clapping. Listen, it's the last episode of the series and we're doing something completely different. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are making a dessert. Yeah? Has makes desserts sometimes, mostly tarts. So today, we're making a beautiful frangipane and apricot tart. Frangipane is just a French word for butter, sugar and almonds. Apricots is just a French word for orange plums. And today, we're doing that. So, KitchenAid, yeah? We all need a nice bit of kit. This is my nan's, I've borrowed this. If KitchenAid are watching, which you're probably not, but if you were, can I have the bigger one, please? The biggest of the ones. I don't care what fucking colour, or if it's recommissioned, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, plain flour, yeah? I'll take this off. Plain flour, 350 grams. This is our short crust base. This is what's gonna hold all of our goodness in the tart, right? So 350 grams of plain flour, in it goes. And then in here, I've cubed up 250 grams of unsalted butter, yeah? Room temp, you wanna be able to squash it. It's just, we're gonna take it to that breadcrumb stage that we all talk about and we all know about, right? I'm using unsalted butter, but I want to season my flour just a little bit, just to bring it to the forefront. I also like to have like a really sweet tart and then all of a sudden get like a little bit of Malden and like in the back teeth and be like, oh, seasoning, delicious. Contrast, innit? You got to like make sure everything's in the forefront. So, flour, little crack of salt, 250 grams unsalted butter, room temp if possible. You don't have room temperature butter, it's just going to take longer to cream. I've got a dough hook attachment. We're just going to bring this down and slowly bring it together, right? I do like the smell of bacon, you know. There's nothing feminine about bacon, okay? It's a universal, unisex form of cooking, okay? Baking's not just for girls, man, all right? So look, in here, look, we've got to like breadcrumby stage, right? So our butter's mixed in with our flour, right? It's become like this sandy consistency, yeah? So I'm gonna go in with 100 grams of icing sugar. This is gonna blow. Now I want to stir this through gently. I don't want it to, if I put this on full whack, it's just gonna go everywhere. So just stir it through gently. Make sure you like bringing in the sides in so it gets spread out even. Now I can go full whack. Right, so now we're gonna drop it down so it's like a nice, gentle, consistent mix. Gonna make sure that everything's down in the base, yeah? And then we're slowly gonna incorporate 3 egg yolks. Just gonna dribble one by one. That's the first one. Gonna speed it up ever so slightly. Second one. And then slowly get the third one in. Egg yolks in, kill it. Now, we don't want to bash the egg yolks about, nor do we want to overmix this now. The more that we mix this, the tighter it's going to get. So what I'm going to do is lay out some cling film. And when I say tighter, I mean, for those of you that don't know baking terms, if I overmix this now, when I line my tart case, when I cook it, it's gonna shrink. So we wanna keep it as loose and like untampered with as possible and just allow the ingredients to mix once and then fucking leave it, yeah? So, bowl comes off, scrape off any bits that you've got left over. Now, this just looks like something that's not very appetizing. So I get to a point where it's all come together and then I'm just gonna like slowly mix it through with my hands, making sure that like if there's any bits of flour at the bottom like there is in this, just let it's all come together, right? So there's no inconsistencies, but we're not bashing it about in the mixer. This is just slowly incorporating it like a crack addict trying to get the last bits out of the bag, like that famous video that Robert's laughing about in the background. Drugs are bad, don't do drugs, bake at home. But yeah, look, so that's all come together. I like to just shape mine, give it a little pat. Any last bits? Just getting the last bits off. Any last bits? Just like that, yeah? And then, I'm gonna turn this into a big sausage. Fucking stay there, bro. Gonna turn this into a sausage. Oh, fuck baking, bro. Fuck baking, this is a long thing. Baking is a long thing, bro. I'm out here battling cling film and that. Joke thing, joke, man. And I've now put a massive hole in my cling film. Fuck's sake. Get your pastry. Falling apart here, lads. Get your pastry, yeah? Mould it into that shapey. And then gonna wrap it in cling, right? And then as I do it, I'm holding the cling film so there's a little bit of like tightness. Making sure that both ends have got enough bits to work with. Like that. It's probably about £1 worth of cling film. That's what head chefs would say. Here's £1 worth of cling film. And then just roll it. I'm holding both ends. I'm just going to roll it so it's tight, yeah? Like a big sausage. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your shortcrust pastry. Now, I was taught in college to make a short crust, rest it in the fridge and then roll it out. Long thing, fuck all of that. We are going to freeze this. So it's going to need about 1.5 hours, maybe 2. And the idea is that we're going to freeze it and then grate it into our tart case. Anything left over, stick back in the freezer, make another tart for another day. This will do 1 tart and a bit. So if you're going to do that and reserve it, do it twice. Yeah, but into the freezer, and I'll pull some out that I'd made earlier. Fucking bacon malarkey, bro. What? KitchenAid? No, I can stay there, it's fine. I don't know where you think you're going with them 1, 2 little bars. Dead out. Clash me, you'll get apart. Jeremy Adenuga, I don't care what man or man thinks. Your mixtape and it stinks. How you perform when you're on stage sounds exactly like your mixtape. This can be in your freezer for, I think somewhere stupid like 3 months, man. So like you could just make this, forget about it, and then one day be like, oh, got a bit of Hassan's short crust pastry in the freezer. Did you? Nice, did you use it? Yeah. My guys, Robert. You see Robert? Just make sure. Yeah, cool. So all of my cling film is off. This is frozen, solid, right? Box grater. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a blender with a grating attachment, you're fucking living the dream. Because right now you just go, grat, comes out, done. Unfortunately, I still live in the 1980s. So we're gonna have to grate this. Move that cup so it doesn't drop, Rob. So look, this isn't all of our pastry. I've sent Robert to do the rest of it because quite frankly I can't be bothered. Yeah, so we're gonna line this tart cake. So for me, the most important part of making a tart is getting the rim done right, yeah? The base, we're just gonna poke in with our hands like kids in school. Getting this frilly bit and like the nice L shape in your tart for your mixture to fit into is the most important. So, I mean, we've chosen quite a hot day to do this, but look, I'm just gonna thumb this in, right? Like so. Now, I leave the overhang. Basically, if I cut this down now, and my pastry is too short where I've moved it too much, it will shrink underneath the line of the tart cake. So I leave the overhang and then we deal with it after. Just gonna press this in. As I'm pressing, I'm making sure that the bottom bit is the most important, right? making sure that that's all in, flat, same. And yeah, this was frozen 5 minutes ago, but the more you push and poke, the more malleable it comes, it melts and it starts to be like Play-Doh-y, and you just squash it in, shape it, fucking blind bake it, and it's done, right? So I'm gonna push this all in. Rob's a star, you know. Everyone put ours in the chat for Robert. Robert's the fucking gang. He's also the one friend that I've written about in the introduction to my book. Old School G, Batty and Bench. We've been friends since, how long have we been friends, Rob? 20 years? More than that, 25 years.
About 25 years.
Mad. We're both old now, you know. Thanks, Rob. A tiny bit more and we'll see how we get on. Thanks, Rob. Back of house Rob. That's your new name, back of house. Priorly. Sometimes when I'm cooking, I visualize myself as the ingredient. And like when I'm poking my tart in, I'm like, yeah, I'm pushed all the way up against it. Like when I'm parking a car, I imagine I'm parking the car from the top, right? So I'm aware of my surroundings. George is looking mental. But when I'm parking, yeah, I've got my sensors going, I've got my checking my mirrors and that. But I'm visualizing in my head what a pigeon would see if I was parking my car. And sometimes when I'm cooking, it's the way I think about food. It's like I put my garlic in and I'm like, oh yeah, am I ready? Am I ready? Am I ready? Am I ready? I'm ready now. Bang, in with the next ingredient. And I think it's because I got ADHD, probably. But yeah, useless anecdote that might stay in, or it might not. Thanks, Rob. So the rim and the edge of our tart's done, yeah? Now, all we've got to do is like Play-Doh poke these bits in. Look, poke it down. Trying to get it all to the same level. Any inconsistent gaps, I can just push bits of pastry around. A little bit more. Thanks, babe. I think we're good.
Nice, well, they're nice food today. Yeah.
It's the last episode of the series.
Huh?
It's the last episode of the series.
This one?
Yeah.
All right. What can I say to you?
You tell us what you want to say.
What, about food, about life?
Whatever the fuck you want, Cam. The stage is yours, mate.
I wish my son all the best. Well, he's Korea. Maybe.
That's a Korea like the country.
Yeah. Maybe he do what he wanted to do. I think he will. I wish him to be happy to do what he wants to do, to come the step he wants. That's what I can say.
Thanks, Cam.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, man, I used this much. I did one recipe, bruv.
Ama yeni kömür, ha bunda da yeni kömür.
Yeah, yeni kömür oradadır.
Very good. George, I'm gonna knock this down today, you know that?
You can't.
Why?
It's iconic.
If you knock that down, people will be upset
Why?
because it makes the set.
Oh,
It's going to be worth a lot of money one day. You want to sell it as a whole thing, Cam.
you reckon?
So, one line tart, right? Pretty much uniform all the way around. If there's some bits that are lighter than others, just push your bits around, right? So now you want to poke the base of your tart with a fork. This is going to prevent the pastry rising whilst we cook it, yeah? Creates little air pockets that the steam from underneath while it's cooking can escape. Now, if I weren't to poke this tart or line this tart the way we're going to line it now with a cartouche, if you put this in the oven as is, the middle would balloon and crack and the outside wouldn't cook. So the reason we line it is so that we can cook the outsides, weigh the middle down, then we pull away our baking beads and then cook it again in order to cook the base, right?
Are you gonna put macaroni in there?
Yeah, I'm making a macaroni tart.
With this one?
Yeah, I'm making this. I'm gonna put this inside. I'm gonna put some jam.
Are you joking? So you
Camille,
put it in there?
no, man, you fucking. Right, so. What? Yeah, fine, there's 2 pieces of fish in there for you as well. There's 2 pieces of fish in there for you as well. Baking paper. I'm talking to the camera. Baking paper, fold in half, right? So I'm just going to trim this. Now, fold towards you. We're going to go 1 fold this way, corner to corner. Make sure any folds that you do on this baking paper are tight, right? Like so. And then what we want to do is take 1 corner whilst our fingers on this corner, and we're just going to give it the first fold, right? So you want to keep this little corner nice and straight, but put some folds into this. We're not counting the folds, I don't care. We're just, this is what the French call a cartouche, right? So now you end up with this, yeah? Now, if I take the tip of this cartouche and measure where the middle of my tart is, yeah? I now know that I need to cut here, like so. Blood, are you mad? Look, man made a cartouche. How sick is that? Science, cuz. Science is a mad thing. So this goes into your tart. Make sure that there's no air underneath it.
You're doing a good job, man. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, mate.
Very good job.
Thanks. No air underneath it. And then these bits of pasta I use as baking beads. I haven't got any baking beads. I use pasta, rice, bulgur wheat, whatever's knocking about in the cupboard, beans, stick them in. Yeah, and this is just to hold it down to make sure that our tart doesn't rise as we blind bake. Yeah, that's it. My oven is preset at gas mark 5, which I think is 170. I'm not sure. Whatever gas mark 5 is, Google it. That's your one job. Google it, find it out. We're going to blind bake this for about half an hour. We're going to do 20 minutes as is until our rim starts to take on a nice, beautiful, glorious colour. We're going to take it off, egg wash with an egg yolk, egg wash the entire thing, bake it again for another 5 minutes until it looks like this. Do you know what the saddest thing is? I've just lined this tart and I've got to throw it all away. Dead. We all make mistakes. I know at the top of this video, I was like, yeah, I can make a tart. Basically, I've only got 1 tart case. So I showed you guys how to line a tart case, but I had one that I made earlier. And as I put my tart case into the old tart case, the motherfucker fell apart, yeah? You're not gonna have this problem because you're not moving tart cases about like some sort of fucking tart case drug dealer. So what I've done is patchworked it together, put it back in the tart case. I'm missing a bit of crust here, doesn't matter, doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, this is the colour you're looking for. Don't worry about what it looks like, this is the colour you want. Mistakes happen, you get me? Also, I'm so committed to this recipe, we could have given up, but this is like an hour into this recipe, and plus the stuff that I did last night, which made me miss other plans, so we're not giving up. Tart's done. Let's move on to frangipane. Frangipane, ladies and gentlemen, is a mixture of almonds, butter, and sugar, right? So, again, you need a nice mixer, whisk attachment. I have 250 grams of butter and 250 grams of sugar, equal amounts, right? We are gonna wazz this together, yeah, until it's like creamy and delicious. Motherfucker. Loves it. The idea is that we're beating the sugar and the eggs together in order to make air, right? And we want it to be nice and fluffy so that when we bake it, it comes out and it's all delicious and great. So I've beat this for about 4 minutes. I'm gonna crack 2 eggs into this bowl. Always crack into a bowl, don't crack straight into your mixer. If you crack eggshell into there now, it's a nightmare to get out. So I've got 2 whole eggs. Add in my eggs. And then from here, we're going to add in our ground almonds. Just like so. And then we don't want to bash this together, we just want it to come together, a little mix. And that is our frangipane done. Now I'm going to take this fucking sad looking tart case.
Hey. Yeah.
And plonk. Now we're going to poke this frangipane about. Sweet almonds, sugar. You want it to be like soft and moist after you've cooked it. So we're going to poke in these beautiful apricots. Just like so. Leaving the skin on, but I'm also poking them skin side up because they'll blister in the oven, and then we can just pull the skin off of them. And like, you could do this with any fruit. You could do this with peaches, cherries, strawberries, rhubarb, anything you fancy. I saw these apricots today and I was like, oh yeah, I'll have an apricot. This guy's a prick, fam.
That's the best thing you know.
Right, apricots are poked in, and then basically this goes in the oven, gas mark 5, about 40 minutes. The frangipane will lift and then drop, so you might lose your apricot poking, but as long as it's cooked all the way through. What's its own show? Yeah, you might lose your apricots because the frangipane's going to lift and then drop, but you want it to be nice and almost raw when you take it out, and then it will set when it cools down. But yeah, gas mark 5, cook it 45 minutes. We'll see you back then. Eat a bit of this. It's dead fish. Come here, what a lovely fish you make, man.
Huh?
What a lovely fish.
Yeah.
Tart's gone in the oven, gas mark 5. After 20 minutes, we're going to give it a spin so it cooks on both sides evenly. We're looking about 40 minutes the entire time. And my dad's eating an onion like an apple. My dad's just eating an onion like an apple. But yeah, give it some time. If you've got a fan oven, check it after 15, then spin it, give it another 15. I'll show you what to look for when it pulls out in it. When you pull your tart out of the oven, it's going to have a little wobble, right? You need to let your tart sit for at least half an hour, let it start to cool down, then it will solidify, right? So we're gonna take this out. Bumbuckler, that thing's hot, bruv. Gonna take this out and hopefully it doesn't fall apart. Thank you, Jesus. I'm stuck. Oh, tart tan. You know the bit before where we said we're leaving a little bit on top of our tart? If you find that you've got too much edge, take a microplane and grate them down so that they're level and even. I've lost a bit here, but the frangipane's done all right. But all the way around, we've got a beautiful, beautiful little tart case, right? It's nice and short, buttery, rich. Got a little bit of colour around the edge, which I don't mind. It's like personality. We're all a little bit different. I'm just going to cut it. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I normally do 8 little divots. And then we're going to slip our knife underneath. Thanks, Rob. And there's a beautiful slice of still warm. You see this here? The importance I was talking about getting it in the edge. That's what you want. You want your frangipane to be able to sit all the way to the edge. See how in here the apricot's gone all fucking jammy, like marmalade, sweet. It's like fucking everything's full of butter. Our frangipane's almost set, it's still gooey. I don't actually like desserts, but a good tart. Everyone loves a good tart, you get me? In here, I've just got a little bit of creme fraiche. I like the acidity of creme fraiche. I like the contrast of like cold against a warm tart that's full of like butter and sugar. And we're just gonna do like a fucking plonk. Just a plonk like that. Amuse bouche, you get me? Dog's having a drink. It's another dog barking. Oh, you hear it? Nice little crack when you go down, it's important. Creme fraiche. That there, ladies and gentlemen, is the bite that you want. Don't bark, don't bark. Sit down. In my mouth? I know you're gonna have your own piece, but I beg you. Come. I just want to see the joy. That was a bit fake, but it's fine. Camille.
Dog's gonna eat.
Just put it in your mouth, man. How it is? But yeah, so you've got like sweetness.
Oh.
The apricots, when you cook them, go really tart. And you got like this sourness that's fucking delicious. Fresh cream. The tart case is really short and crispy. Beautiful what I baked, cuz. So I'm just gonna feed the family. I got mum and dad off camera. Rob, George is gonna have a slice. Series 2's wrapped. We wrapped it with a dessert. Please make this. Honestly, it fucking bangs. I know it's a method and it's a long thing, but it's a brilliant one. Thank you for watching. Once again, because of you lot, we get to eat scallops and squid for breakfast. You paid for us to go to France, which is out soon. Keep your eyes peeled. And yeah, man, thank you. Love you all. Who jar bless, no man can curse. The bus can swim, nobody can cross it. Bye. Hey, where are you? At home? I'm at home, bro. Does your back garden lead onto my back garden? Nah. What's your door number? 51. 51. I'm gonna run you some tart quickly.
I don't know.
Yeah, man, I'm there.
All right, cool, bro. Cool. All right, love. You're always getting caught eating, bro.
God.
Innit? How nice is the apricot, bro?
You want some more?
Get off the plate, dog.
Bang him. Finger lick him.
You got prayer now, innit? Good. This is Pastry, Cyprus. This belongs to Cyprus. Cyprus people, Turkish and Greek people, one of their favorite food, pastırma. This is good combination. You can eat it with tomato and pita bread. You wet a little bit and the skin comes out. You don't need the skin. You can fry it with the egg, and if you want, you can put on barbecue. It's your choice to do whatever you want. lemon, salt, and pizza bread, and salad. Salad, if my wife comes and makes salad, I will eat it. If it's not, I'm gonna eat it with no salad. This is a nice one. We only go a small fire because it's only 2 pieces fish, yes? This is mixed with olive oil and white oil, cooking oil.